Hello all, so today we are talking about universal design. So universal design is design and composition of an environment so that it can be assessed, understood, and used to the greatest extent possible by all people, regardless of their age, size, ability, and disability. An environment or any building, product, or service in that environment should be designed to meet the needs of all people who wish to use it. This is not a special requirement for the benefit of only a minority of the population. It is a fundamental condition of good design. If an environment is accessible, usable, convenient, and a pleasure to use, everyone benefits. By considering the diverse needs and abilities of all throughout the design process, universal design creates products, services, and environments that meet people's needs. Simply put, universal design is good design. The Disability Act of 2005 defines universal design, or UD, as the design and composition of an environment so that it may be assessed, understood, and used to the greatest extent possible, in the most independent and natural manner possible, and the widest possible range of situations, without the need for adaptation, modification, assistive devices, or specialized solutions by any persons of any age or size, or having any particular physical, sensory, mental health, or intellectual ability or disability. And means in relation to electronic systems, any electronics-based process of creating products, services, or systems that may be used by any person. There are 7 principles of universal design, which were developed in 1997 by a working group of architects, product engineers and designers, and environmental design researchers, led by the late Ronald Mace and the North Carolina State University. The purpose of the principle is to guide the design of environments, products, and communications. According to the Center for Universal Design and NCSU, the principles may be applied to evaluate existing designs, guide the design process, and educate both designers and consumers about the characteristics of more usable products and environments. And we're going to talk about each one of these different principles as we go. So principle 1 is equitable use. The design is useful and marketable to people with diverse abilities. Guideline 1A is to provide the same means of use for all users, identical whenever possible, equivalent when not. Avoid segregating or stigmatizing any users. Provisions for privacy, security, and safety should be equally available to all users, and make the design appealing to all users. Principle number 2 is flexibility in use. The design accommodates a wide range of individual preferences and abilities. The guidelines associated are to provide choice in methods of use, accommodate right or left-handed access and use, and facilitate the user's accuracy and precision, and provide adaptability to the user's pace. So here in this image, it shows a moving walkway in an airport. The moving walkway is designed to provide travelers the option of standing or walking. Individuals who are tired, have difficulty with mobility, or traveling with young children may prefer to stand, while others who are in a hurry may choose to walk. Principle number 3 is simple and intuitive use. Use of the design is easy to understand, regardless of the user's experience, knowledge, language skills, or current concentration level. The guidelines associated are that it eliminates unnecessary complexity, can be consistent with user expectations and intuition, and accommodates a wide range of literacy and language skills, and also arranges information consistent with its importance. Provides effective prompting and feedback during and after task completion. Here you have an example of, it's a handheld captioning system at Walt Disney World that's providing captioning for the moving amusement rides. It's designed for wireless reception, and the device does not require the use of extra control features and provides a simple solution for park visitors. Principle number 4 is perceptible information. The design communicates necessary information effectively to the user regardless of ambient conditions or the user's sensory abilities. Guidelines associated are that it uses different modes such as pictorial, verbal, or tactile for redundant presentation of essential information. It provides adequate contrast between essential information and its surroundings, and maximizes legibility of essential information. Differentiates elements and ways that can be described, makes it easy to give instructions or directions, and provides compatibility with a variety of techniques or devices used by people with sensory limitations. So here you have an example of a tactile model and an audio program that shows a woman standing in an exhibit in Hawaii. She is looking at a tactile model of the island of Oahu while listening to an audio program on the World War II attack on Pearl Harbor and the USS Arizona. That exhibit accommodates the needs of most people by providing both auditory and tactile information, so redundancy in that respect. Principle number 5, tolerance for error. The design minimizes hazards and the adverse consequences of accidental or unintended actions. So guidelines require that there's an arrangement of elements to minimize hazards and errors. Most used elements, most accessible or hazardous elements have been eliminated, isolated, or shielded. It provides warnings of hazards and errors. So signage, provide fail, safety features, and discourage unconscious action in tasks that require vigilance. So here you have a boardwalk trail with 2 guardrails. The boardwalk trail through Moore Woods has been designed with edge protection along both sides of the trail. That edge protection serves as a safety measure by keeping people from walking or rolling off the trail unintentionally. It also serves as visitor management by discouraging people from disrupting the woods, the forests surrounding the giant greenwoods. Principle number 6 is low physical effort. You see this in a lot of kitchens and restrooms. The design can be used efficiently and comfortably and with minimum of fatigue. So guidelines are to allow user to maintain a neutral body position and use reasonable operating forces, minimize repetitive actions, and minimize sustained physical effort. So you see this again in a lot of kitchens and restrooms now, where you have an automatic sink. The automatic sink comes with the soap dispenser, and this just helps with making sure, of course, that we're washing our hands, so increasing sanitation. It increases the usability for all users by eliminating most physical effort and reduces repetitive motions of turning handles or knobs on and off. Principle number 7 is size and space for approach and use. Appropriate size and space is provided for approach, reach, manipulation, and use regardless of user's body size, posture, or mobility. The guidelines are that it needs to provide a clear line of sight to important elements for any seated or standing user. It makes reach to all components comfortable for any seated or standing user and accommodates variations in hand and grip size, and provides adequate space for the use of assistive devices or personal assistants. So here you see a reception desk with various heights, and with that, the various heights, the desk is usable by people both seated and standing, as well as tall and short, allowing multiple users the opportunity to access information. You see this again in restrooms oftentimes, where you'll have they'll have countertops that are at varying heights, and that's to allow for those who are in a wheelchair or for children possibly to utilize the faucets. So this is just an example of the different principles in place. Again, the first, you can see having the sliding glass doors allows for equitable use by anyone and with diverse abilities. Principle number 2 is flexibility in use. So offering tools for both people that are right-handed as well as left-handed. Principle number 3 is simple. It's intuitive to use. There you can see it's, I think, at a museum, and something that as someone walks up, it's describing or talking about. So it's allowing that opportunity for those who maybe are sight challenged to be able to hear what is going on. Number 4, perceptible information. The design communicates necessary information effectively to the user, regardless of their conditions or the user's sensory abilities. So I think it's a flip phone, and yeah. So principle number 5, the tolerance for error. Here you're designing minimizes hazards and the adverse consequences of accidental or unintended actions. So there's some protective measures that are put in to help us. You see that in computers where you have an undo button and can reverse the action if you decide you don't want to do that. Principle number 6, the low physical effort. So creating door handles that are easy to open and require very little fatigue or repetitive motion. And number 7, size and space for approach and use. So having an understanding of what someone in a wheelchair or that's short in stature, they're able to go through the gate there. And that is all that I have for today, guys. Thank you for joining me and talking about universal design as well as the built environment from our previous discussion. And I think y'all have a great day today.